Wait, what the hell does rolled up mean? Does it mean what I think it means?
So, yeah. And I got rolled up while I was rolled up. So we was in welding together, and this is the biggest, dumbest thing the Department of Corrections or any jail does. They punish men for relieving themselves, right? Now, I can understand if you're doing it in front of a female, somebody be like, we're all men, we've been down years. It's bound to happen.
You talking about like strumming the old baloney.
Yeah, rubbing one out. Yeah. So anyways, in the privacy of our welding booth, we have curtains and everything. It's like
gentlemen.
Like gentlemen. You know, not exposing anything. Anyways, we had a system in the welding shop. Hey, look. Red light, green light. When the people come, you know.
It's red light. That's why he said red light.
Yeah. Okay. Well, I don't know if Rooftop
kept playing.
He kept playing.
Rooftop plays too much.
Yeah. So
Rooftop is a person.
Rooftop is
the person.
Nicholas Banta.
You might have to bleep that out if you don't want it out there.
The Rooftop Bandit.
Rooftop Bandit. The Rooftop Bandit.
He used to go in and rob ATMs and he'd hoist himself through the roofs.
Anyways, Rooftop.
Yeah. Anyways, long story short, I went and Rooftop was supposed to be on the lookout. Well, I didn't hear a red light, and I don't think he called it.
He called it.
He did?
Because I was in the shop.
I must have been focused.
Yeah, he was
anyway, long story short, I hear the curtain behind me open. He said, this old white dude, man, he's an old redneck from Angela, Louisiana.
Yeah. Lieutenant.
He says, boy, what are you doing? I'm just like, what's it look like, man? He says, boy, what are you doing? And I mean, I'm froze at this point. I'm stuck.
You say a what?
Excuse me. So I looked around, and it's him and the other dude,
the one from Auto Mechanics.
Yeah, they're looking at me, and I'm looking at them, and I'm like trying to put my shit. Anyways, long story short, man, they hoisted me out of there like I was a criminal. Handcuffed me, walked me down the walk, brought me to the cell blocks, and I was just mortified. I'm like, I've never felt so played for like doing what most men, you know what I mean?
Yeah, was your tenderized meat still poking out of your trousers when they were dragging you out?
That was why I didn't turn all the way around fully, because I couldn't at the moment without like blasting them, you know? So anyways, yeah, bro. Now, the cool thing is I had gotten close with one of the wardens there. He was real cool, Warden Cook and stuff like that. And, you know, he knew that it was no like craziness going on. Like I didn't expose myself to people. Dudes get hemmed up all the time for that. It's really ridiculous. But anyways, that's for another day.
Break down what hemmed up means, because I thought it was just getting your ass whooped. It just means pulled you out.
Yeah, like you get hemmed up.
Snatched you up.
You get cuffed up. You go to jail. So anyways, I think that it's really ridiculous that they do that to men. Like I can understand if you're doing it in the sense where you're like showing people or doing
disrespecting someone.
Or disrespecting somebody, but like, dude, I mean, we've been gone years.
Then I'm in the booth.
In the booth.
And it seems like you had an organized system, too.
Yeah.
You know, like it was like, hey, dude, we were respecting everything.
We had visual material and everything.
Oh, yeah.
You know what I mean?
Y'all have
put it underneath the plate.
Yeah. Like little cave drawings or something? Like
no, we had real pictures.
Okay, look at y'all. Yeah, somebody smuggled those, they got those cheek status smuggled in or what?
I don't know how they was there when we got there.
Yeah,
they was left behind.
Oh, so this is like a kind of like a ritual thing that's just been passed down from generation to generation.
It don't leave the welding shop.
Yeah.
Okay.
When you graduate or move on, you leave it there.
Yeah.
And you
don't
tell
get
someone
to
where it's
take it
at.
back to the dorm.
Yeah.
You get beat up for that.
Yeah.
That's like taking somebody's old lady, man.
Who took the?
Hey,
who took the
dudes really
1929?
get attached to certain pictures too. Like,
man, what are pictures at? What are pictures at? I don't know. Oh, Scott had the last. Scott, what a picture? Oh, I don't know. Such and such had the last. Then when they find out who the last one with it, if he took it down, that's
problems.
Trouble. Yeah.
It's like taking your girl, man.
Oh, dude, it sounds serious.
Anyways,
it's my favorite story so far.
This is Scott with Penitentiary to the Penthouse podcast.
P2P.
Sitting next to me is my best friend in real estate and your best friend in real estate, Scott Beatty.
Couillon.
On my right, my partner, my man, Vladimir Celius,
a.k.a. Black Russian.
A.k.a. V-Fat.
What up, Black Russian?
What it do?
Man, so when, keeping the theme of this podcast, I always want to highlight super successful people who have gone through the the struggle of prison and came home and really made something of themselves. And Fat, he is the epitome of that. He's come home and done phenomenal. I'm super proud of him. He's a huge success story. He's involved in a lot of positive things in the city of New Orleans. He's got a really cool position. So we're going to talk about that today. But, Fat, I guess I just want you to kind of, short version, describe your childhood, what led you up to the penitentiary, and then we'll just kind of take it from there.
All right. So me growing up, New Orleans, Louisiana, Lower Ninth Ward, representing them lawless Penthians.
Shout out.
That my junior high school and my elementary school.
Say that again. What was it?
That my junior high school.
What was the name?
Was Lawless.
Lawless.
Lawless. LAWLESS. So I went to elementary. I went to Horton Mustangs.
All right.
But my upbringing, like, I had a really, really close knit family. But majority of my family was in a one household parent. So, the family was kind of like close knit. But, as I started growing up, I had a cousin of mine who I really looked up to, like a big brother, because I was the oldest brother. Mm-hmm. I had an older sister and the youngest brother. So my cousin, he really was like my mentor, right? So he was off into all kind of other things, but that was my mentor, right? So I really think my life really changed when I was in the 7th grade. Like from elementary all the way up to the 7th grade, I was a good kid, A student, things of that nature. But my cousin wound up dying right there, getting killed right there in front of me. Somebody shot him up, and I'm looking from a distance because my 7th period class in junior high was PE, right?
Oh, so you saw it while you were in school? I
saw it, but I'm standing from a distance, but you could see the whole thing that's going on, right? So I see a guy on the bike, and he going back and forth from the corner to a car. I'm just being nosy, just looking out. So next thing you know, you hear some gunshots. So us young, 7th grade, we run to the gate. Oh man, somebody got shot. But when I get close to the gate where I can see the guy laying on the ground, it's my cousin. Like, oh no. So it kind of like messed me up. And from then, they had some other things happening with the family, but my mind was really on trying to get that person who did that. But then something else happened to someone in my family. I don't really want to talk about that part, but something else happened, and when it happened, it's like, nah, I really gotta do this. Right. So I wound up catching a first degree murder charge and an armed robbery. Though it really was this really was a murder charge, but when they start putting things together to make things stick, an armed robbery got to be attached to it. So when it went down with me and a couple other guys, they didn't really know what was going on but me. And when it all said and done, we got busted. Well, when they found out what car it was and things of that nature, everybody just pointed the finger at me. So I wound up going to prison at the age of 16. I didn't go to trial because I knew I was guilty. I never did hide the fact that I did the crime.
Did you have an attorney?
I had a state attorney.
A public defender?
Public offender. And that public offender, in New Orleans, he's a great lawyer. He's now deceased, but he was a great lawyer, but the man never really did nothing for me. Mm-hmm. He was worrying about other cases than my cases. I was telling him about my case. He said, well, you know what happened with this? Like, nah, I don't know nothing about that. Right? But I wind up, and the crazy part about it, I remember the day that was March the 18th, 1992.
It's my birthday.
And
March 18th?
March 18, 1992. I went to court. Been going back and forth to court, but come March 18, 1992, a lawyer come up to me and say, hey man, they want to offer you 50 years. I'm like, 50 years? I said, I'll tell you what. You tell them give me 30 years, and I'm going to roll with it, right? So he said, all right, what we going to do, we gonna come back tomorrow, and I'll let you know what happened. So March 19, 1992 come up, and he was like, oh, I got some bad news. I'm like, what's up? He said, you going to take the 50 or we going to trial? I'm not going to win that trial. I knew that.
Right.
So I went to counting on my hand. I'm like, oh.
Trying to figure out when you coming home.
How old I'm going to be? I'm saying, how old I'm going to be? I said, go ahead, give it to me. Right? So I wind up March 19, 1992, copped out to 50-year sentence. Then it was 50 years for armed robbery and 21 years for manslaughter. But when you run it together, you get the bigger the charge, and it wound up being 50-year sentence.
They made the armed robbery stick?
Oh, yeah. Well, they ain't had to make it big. I know if I go to court, I'm going to wind up facing a life sentence or a death penalty. So, thinking about it, I'd rather see another day. It might not see a day at all. So, I like give me.
That would have put you coming home at 60-something.
66.
When the whole 50?
Yeah, I mean, I know you do 85% of that.
No, well, then it was 30, the 138 Act. 138, so you doing half of your time.
Oh, it was on. Okay, that was before they upped
That before they upped it to the 85%.
So what's up? They got you off of the car though? Like they were.
So what happened with the car? One of the guys that were with us, and to this day I don't even know that guy's name.
Mm-hmm.
He got, but the people got the license plates, and once they got the license plates, they traced it to him. But he was smart. He like, my car was stolen because he had been put his car as stolen. But I had another guy that was with us. He was like, he was scary. He seen the police. He just come out and just talked everything. Oh, such. And the crazy part, when they come got us, when them people come got me, I ain't know what I ain't know the people. You under arrest? I'm like, I ain't doing nothing, right? But when it's all said and done, I'm like, well, I'm not gonna let someone else. One thing my parents did, my mama and my aunties, them taught me, when you do something, you got to face the consequences.
Right.
Mm-hmm. So that's something that was installed in my head. Well, I did it. I just got to take my lick.
Yeah, because at that point, if you didn't take your lick, a bunch of guys that didn't.
Yeah, then you gonna have other guys that didn't really do nothing.
Stuck.
They stuck, and so my conscience just wouldn't let me do that anyway.
It's like a little hero's tale in that kind of. So this wasn't an alleged story. So this was because when I asked you earlier, I wanted to like, what is like? Because sometimes people say like, I didn't do anything. I'm like,
I did.
What'd you do allegedly? Like,
I did it.
You're very upfront with it. All right.
Well, so you at age 18 they sentenced you?
No, I was 17 when I got in 19.
As a juvenile.
It was a capital offense. I got arrested when I was 16, which was in 1991. But by me going back and forth to court, I'm going to court. All right, so when I got arrested, I was 16. So when I first got arrested, I had to go down to juvenile court.
Right.
So the next day I went to juvenile court. I got pending to Tulane and Broad. So now they were waiting on Tulane and Broad to accept the charges. See if I'm going to get indicted. Yeah, so once I'm going to get indicted. They accepted the charges. I got indicted. In October 91, I got rearrested for the first-degree murder and armed robbery charge.
Whenever you're getting processed, what are you thinking in your head? Like whenever it's all real, like it's like boom, boom, and you're in. They're taking you, and you're finally going in, and you know you're not coming back out.
I'm gonna tell you the God's honest truth. When I got arrested in 91 in July, I went down to the juvenile thing. So they don't fingerprint you or nothing. I went down to this little place called CYC. There were all other people that's 15, 13, 14, 12 years old, all us in the same little thing. So it's like a summer camp, right? So in October, and it had to be in October, that was Halloween night.
Okay.
1991.
So you had your orange suit on, dressed up.
We had red on. On CYC, we wore red jumpsuit and things. So I never forget. I just got off the phone with my mom or something talking to them. Well, we gonna come see you this weekend. Blah blah blah. I think it was like a Wednesday night, something like that, right? The guard, Captain Keys, I never forget. He said, "Hey, Vladimir, back it up." I'm like, what? He said, back it up. You're getting transferred. So I don't know no better. Everybody said, "Oh, you going on a juvenile till." So the juvenile till was someone that getting trialed as an adult.
Okay.
I'm going to what they call the big jail, right? So
you was going to OPP?
No, I was going to Templeman.
Oh, all right.
Templeman. So I still don't know nothing, right? So when I get down, we go down to Central Lockup. And Central Lockup was like the House of D, House of Detention. I go down to Central Lockup. Now, when you is a red band, then when you got a felony charge, like a murder charge, armed robbery, you have to be handcuffed. Even when everybody else is not handcuffed, you have to be handcuffed. So I go in there, I'm still 16. So I'm about to get fingerprinted. The man said, "You got to go in there." I look, nobody got handcuffs on. I said, man, I'm not going in there.
Yeah, because somebody jump on you.
I said, I'm not going in there. He said, oh, you going in there. I said, I'm not going in there. I'm really looking. I'm like, man, you going to have to beat me and you going to put me some. I'm not going in there. You got to realize I'm 16. There's a bunch of grown men.
And you're handcuffed.
And I'm handcuffed. And there ain't no way in the world. I'm not doing it. Just so happened to have a guy from around my house that was in the tank, right? And everybody see the commotion. When people see commotion, everybody come look and see
they
what's
trying
going
to catch
on.
the fight.
Yeah, what's going on? What's going on? So one of the guys that grew up in the neighborhood, but he was older than me, from the neighborhood, he like,
oh shit, I know him.
No, he like, Vladimir? I'm like, yeah. He said, come on, I got you.
Okay.
But you got to realize, now in prison, they tell you can't be trusting everybody. So I'm like, man, what you talking about, right? So he like, I got you, man.
So they would just bust your ass just to bust your ass whenever you went in there? It wouldn't just be for any rep or reason?
Who like the guards or the?
No, just whenever you were worried about going in there. He said,
Well, no,
it wasn't
you gotta
that.
think he's handcuffed.
Yeah, I'm handcuffed. So it's like you got to realize in prison, it's like the guards ain't watching, making sure nothing don't go down. Like I said, I've been in prison 25 years. I didn't see some stuff where you could pull over stuff on the guard, and they not always watching. You guys gonna have some guards that don't care. You're going to have the cops and you're going to have the laid-backs, right? So I'm like, nah, I'm not going in there. So then, like, I got to learn, I can't defend myself if somebody do try to attack me, right? So I'm like, nah, but dude, man, I got you. Wind up, I go in, get fingerprinted. Everything was good. I must have stood in there I stayed overnight. Had to go through all the fingerprints, the whole process. Once I go through there, then it's a room no bigger than this. And you got people that piled up on each other.
Sleeping on the floor,
Sleeping
on top of that
on
jumper.
the floor. Yeah, everything. So cold, and you're hungry. You can't use the phone because you got somebody that's holding the phone.
Got a toilet in there stinking.
Yeah, so it was crazy. But I stayed in there overnight, got fingerprinted, and I wound up going to the juvenile to that, which was in Templeman 1. I was on Templeman 1, A1. I was on that till.
And then so from there, you get sentenced.
From there, I'm back and forth, going back and forth to court. And we wound up, the crazy part about it, I tell you this story, I had a good friend of mine named Norris, right? We know who, we all hook up together, right?
Henderson?
No, this is a young guy. He's Norris Collins, 17 boy, I'll never forget. So we know you going to form alliance when you get in there, right? So he young, I'm short, he's short. So I never forget, we started school, we was going to school in there. So I had just made my little canteen, and when I come back, somebody stole all my stuff.
Oh.
I'm like, man. So I'm like, he come to me and say, hey, just go turn the TV off, and the first person say something, that's who you fight. Because if you don't, they're going to steal your stuff every day.
Week.
You ain't gonna get no peace. So I'm like, all right. So
this week one. This is like right off.
This my first week in there.
This is the once you get into jail, you hit the biggest motherfucker. That's your story. Okay, here we go. Yeah, okay.
So I'm like, I'm in there. So I'm like, damn. So I'm like, I'm gonna tell you this. I'm not scary, but it's like when you go to a new environment, man. You like, dang, man. And they realize I was 16. I was no more than when I got, I saw you rap sheet, I was 5'3" when I got arrested. I had to been about 100 and something pounds. I wasn't big at all, right? So I'm like, oh damn, right? So I turned the TV off. Guys, the dude said, man, turn the goddamn TV back on. I'm like, man, what's up? We go to fighting. So the crazy part about it, he had 3 more fall partners. He had 2 more fall partners on the till. And the fall partner was, they all on the same charge together. So he had 2 more fall partners in there with him. So when we go to fighting, so the rules was you got to do 3 rounds. 3 1-minute rounds.
This is organized.
Oh yeah.
Fighting,
So
you got to go 3 1-minute rounds.
Yeah.
So we went in the first mix, and like I'm saying, I'm short.
The blender.
Yeah, he get me. So look at my partner Norris. Say, hey, you got to get in there. He too tall for you. He said, just duck your head, get in there, and swing up.
There you go.
I'm like, all right, gotcha. So I get in there, got in there, ducked the lip, bead, and went to hitting him. I went to hitting him, right? So now I'm confident and got up. I'm like, let's go. I'm ready. I'm ready.
Stop a man with confidence. Go on, Short King. Tell us what happened next.
So the third round come right. I'm like, I'm I'm about that now.
Okay.
So not everything.
Certified.
So everything from the streets coming back. I'm like, all right, let's do this here.
I've been here before.
Roll again. So now the bad part about it, I still didn't get none of my stuff back. Right?
But you got respect.
I got that respect.
That's the most important thing.
So the part come with Norris, right?
Yeah.
Now I'm thinking Norris he had his stripes. Now this happened on about a Thursday. There was a Thursday. So on Fridays in a parish jail, the Friday last meal is the best meal.
Is that baked chicken?
No, the last meal. You get the sandwiches.
Okay, oh yeah.
Tuna fish. Right? So I was sleeping. So it was understood I'm a fight. So nobody really want to do too much fighting, right? They understand I'm a fight. So when I woke up, I had 2 packs of tuna fish sandwiches sitting by my bed. I said, all right, I done got my respect.
There you go.
But my boy Norris, he see me eating tuna fish sandwich. He like, where you get that from? I said, oh man, they put it by my bed. Man, I ain't getting no sandwich. So now it's my turn to play. I said, you gotta go turn the TV off.
The student became the teacher.
I said, you gotta go turn the TV off. So that happened. So that big fight happened, right?
Hey, go ahead.
So then that was the Friday. So that Saturday morning, they had farinas.
What's that mean?
That was like, it's something like oatmeal and grits, but it's farinas. Anybody know about farinas? You ever got the commodity food?
Okay.
The farinas,
That
right?
sounds like some bona fide state issues.
It's like slop.
You look
It's slop.
to make it good, put some animal cookies in it, right?
Okay.
So we supposed to, by we being a juvenile, we supposed to get extra plates, right? So the guys, the Yanks, they giving us the extra plate, but they had one guard. He didn't like Norris, so he ain't want to get Norris the extra plate.
Yeah.
So Norris go to cussing the man out. But that's my boy. I got to roll with him. So the man said, y'all come out here. Me, being a follower, I go out there with him. That man snuck that free man. He snuck that guard. Man, them people beat us half to death. I'm saying, and that's how me and Norris really got big jam, right? So that mind line, they know you mess with Norris, you're going to have to fight Vlad.
Yeah.
Let me tell you the peep behind the play, though.
Yeah.
Norris was probably a little scary until you come into the dorm. So he sent you out into the water to test. And if you do good, well, that's my big dog,
that's
too.
my dog. And both of us were short. Both about 5'2", 5'3". So both of us, so we, and right now to this day, I wonder whatever happened to Norris, right? But I really don't know, because once I got my time, I wind up going to OPP.
Okay.
Norris, if you're out there, text the show. Let us
Reach
know you're
out.
still out there, dude. Hey,
Norris Collins from the 17 Ward, Holly Grove. That's where you from.
Oh,
shout
yeah?
out Norris.
Holly Grove.
So the crazy part, like once I got my, it was so crazy. Like my juvenile time on the juvenile, it was crazy. I think that was my really halfway growing up, right? It was my halfway growing up.
You got to grow up quick.
Yeah, you had to grow up quick. But it's so crazy by you being in CYC, it's all fun and games. But they making you in
comfortable.
I got a story about that. We had to always do exercise, PT formation.
Kind of like a little PE class.
Yeah,
Huh?
they like we in boot camp or something.
Yeah.
But one time I really got tired of that. I'm like, man, I'm not doing that. I've got a life sentence I'm about to face. I'm not about to keep doing all that. Like the man, he got on me. He hit me with the B a couple of times, but I'm like, I ain't have time for that. But when I went to Templeman, I had to grow up a little, but it still was like fun and games. But when I went to OPP, I thought and realized it was real.
Yeah.
It was like, oh, so now it's just. I even called my mom. I said, Mom, I'm in the big jail now.
It's for real now.
It's like
Big
real.
dog.
Yeah, it was like, and so like, cause everybody on the till, like OPP A2 was everybody off code orders from Angola.
Well, then you got to also think OPP is filled with people that have been in and out of the system forever long. You got real dudes that's been in the street, so it's like you get in where you
Yeah,
fit in.
it was. I really seen that. All right, this prison stuff is really real now. All the fun and games is about to stop, and it's like it's time for you to it's time to start manning up.
Yeah.
So when did they send you to Angola?
I went to Angola June the 15th, 1992.
How was that?
It was crazy. Cause I went to Hunts. I left Orleans Parish in May the 15th, 1992, and got shipped to Hunts. Right, so you're supposed to stay in Hunts 2 weeks. I stayed in Hunts a month.
Yeah, the Beavers.
I've been to Beavers. I was in the Beavers. So
That sucks.
It's so crazy that because when you in Hunts, you supposed to stay 2 weeks. I stayed a month.
Yeah,
so,
that's HRDC.
Yeah, so a lot of people went to know me. They were calling me Juvenile, right? I don't know what it is. Like, I knew one thing. When they call your name, they going to put them letters behind it, right? So I know they might call Huffman, DCI, Huffman, WCI. So the man called my name, he say, Celius. I'm like, yeah, right, chill, sound sick, blah, blah. LSP. What? Everybody said, oh, nah, Juve, don't get quiet now.
You been bar hollering the whole time?
Yeah. I know what LSP means, but I'm like, why me? Right? I'm 17. I have a 50-year sentence. I don't have a life sentence. Why are you sending me to Angola? Mm-hmm. And LSP stands for Louisiana State Penitentiary.
Okay.
So why is you sending me there? That's nothing but no lifers. So why I'm going there? So it was like, I ain't lying. That moment I got on my knees, I said, God, only you know how this going to turn out. But what I'm going to tell you is this. The way I'm going in is the way I'm coming out. Right? So it was crazy. So the day I went, June 15, 1992, when you first go up there, you go up on the hill, right? So everybody knowing me. Oh, Juvenile. So I get there, and we on the hill. So the hill is where Death Row at. So when I get there, I never forget that this big old guy, he had to be about 6'5", 6'6", named Jones Square. He was an inmate counselor there. So he come in the room, and he said, hey.
What inmate counsel? That's
It's a lawyer. Yeah. He come in and say, hey, what one of y'all named Vladimir? So I'm like, how in the hell he know my name, right? So everybody looking, but nobody won't say nothing. So he leaves. He come back. Say, hey, what one of y'all named V-Fat? I'm like, how you know that? So I'm saying, damn, is that the dude? He might know I did that to his people. That probably was his people, right? That's how I'm thinking.
Yeah.
I'm like, man. So I'm like, hey, man, that's me. Well, why you ain't saying that when I first called? I said, man, I don't know you. Right? So he leaves again. So everybody say, what's up, Juve? Y'all gonna need my help? I'm saying to myself, what you think? You know what I'm saying? Yeah, I'm gonna need some help.
Oh,
right?
he was approaching you about doing some appeal work.
No, when he come back with 2 big old garbage bags, right?
Full of commissary?
Yeah, he like, see, I'm like, yeah, what's up? No, I got an attitude now. Yeah, what's up? He said, you know Anthony? You know Anthony Celius? I'm like, yeah, that's my uncle. So really, he said, you know Big Ace? I'm like, yeah, that's my uncle.
Shout out Big Ace.
Yeah, he said, may he rest in peace. You know what I'm saying? So he said, you know Big Ace? Yeah, that's my uncle. How that's your uncle? I said, that's my mama brother. That's my grandma's son. You know, right? He said, you know Lays, which is my little cousin.
Yeah.
I said, yeah. He said, they told me to give you this.
They are in there.
They in there already.
Okay, I got
so
you.
I got clothes. I got Zuzus, Wham Wham.
So you swagged out with the tummy on full.
Zuzus or cigarettes?
No, that's like that's like on like cookies, chips,
Okay.
stuff like
Ramen
that.
noodles.
Ramen noodles, soup I never eat again. So stuff like that. So I'm like, all right. So now everybody like, all right, Juve, gonna be all right. So once we get there, we going down a walk. They telling me where you going. So when I first went to Angola, I was on the C block. So C block is really before youngsters and how I want to say this in a political correct way.
Y'all was kind of fucked up.
Nah, it was for
Just say it. We ain't worried about
all right, it was for the punks.
Yeah.
Put right there. The sisters, what they call them.
And in prison, the correct terminology out on the outside is gay, lesbian, but in prison, dudes who act feminine or who are homosexual, they call them punks.
Yeah, that's what they call. So that what it really was, right? So I get there, and I'm like, nah, I don't know. So now you got a lot of people knowing me. They're like, Juve, you got to come from over there, right? So I wind up making
Wait, hold on. How are you talking to people? Isn't it like separated? But
yeah, it's the gates.
Okay.
It's gates.
Oh,
It's
so you just
wide
talk.
open.
It's kind of like the half circle type of situation where someone's talking to you.
No, so the way it was, like the way the walk is, when you come on the walk, you got A block,
Yeah.
and you got B block.
And you have several dorms that just spread. You got like a cafeteria, visiting shed. You got some office buildings. You got a law library. You got
So
dorms.
so people are just able to talk to you.
You can talk
you
like
walk up and down the walls.
Okay.
Like when we first come, you got an A block here, you got B block here. Then you're gonna walk down through a tunnel. You're gonna go through another spot. You're gonna have C block over here, and you're gonna have the dungeon, which is D block. Then they got the other dungeon is E block, right? So
Dungeon being the cell block.
cell block. Yeah. So I went down, stayed there a little while, but I wound up making a board and going to Camp D. And I tell you, when I got to Camp D, I was like, what did I done got myself into?
Reality set in.
I'm like, cause now I'm like, I got one of the worst beds you can ever have in the prison. Like soon you walk in the door, bed 33.
Oh.
Everybody pads right there. Yeah. The bathroom right there. It's like, oh man, how I get this bed, right? But I got on the phone, I'm just looking, so now I'm starting to see men with high shorts on. They got bikinis on.
Shout out.
And I'm like, what the? Is that like mess me up? I'm like, what?
Where am I at?
Yeah, where am I? Is this real? This what prison about? Come on, man. And I'm like, before I even go any further, I can gladly say, God have blessed me. Well, I never had that problem where somebody messing with me about my manhood.
Yeah.
I could stick with that. I'm happy I never had them problems. I think I might not be here talking to y'all today.
Yeah.
And that'll happen.
That's a big respect thing in prison too, for people who don't know.
Yeah, so I never had them type of problems.
Like somebody just trying to get in those cheeks or something?
Yeah, it's crazy.
Yeah.
It's crazy.
Yeah, it's really prevalent in them juvenile systems, ain't it?
Let me tell you something.
Juvenile in Angola.
Yeah.
It's crazy. I'm telling you, I watched the guy, I seen him come up the till, and I looked at him, and I found out what cell he was going in. I said, he in trouble. I'm like, he in trouble. And sure enough, the next morning, that was a wrap.
That's it.
It just happened. Some of them don't even have a chance when they come in.
The prison system's kind of shifted though over the years though, because that was more prevalent back when you.
That was like now you got to realize
they just go in and give it away, and then
so real now it's like it's so crazy. Like when we was in Rayburn, right?
Mm-hmm.
I never seen so many young guys come to prison and get off into the punk game. Mm-hmm. But then you realize they were doing that when they was on the streets.
Yeah, so it was just more open. They was able to do it freely. Yeah. Probably was hiding about it on the streets. Hey, you want to be who you want to be. And then you go to a place where it's a factory.
It's crazy.
Yeah.
But I must admit, like my time in Angola, it really taught me a lot. I'm telling you, I never seen somebody smoke rocks till I went to Angola. I never seen nobody shoot up till I went to Angola. I ain't never drank until I went to Angola.
Damn.
I drunk some homemade brew, and Lord have mercy. We was in the field.
Yeah.
A block. We was in the field, and trustees will make it and hide in a watermelon patch, right? This so happened this day we was picking watermelon, and they found a batch, and the guy on headline, he was telling everybody, "Come with your cup."
Try to distribute it before they get it.
And everybody come, we drink, and we were so drunk when we got to the gate. Sergeant Jack told him, "Just put all of them on the till."
He knew what time it was?
Everybody was drunk, right? And I think that was a neighbor block. But I think my biggest moment in Angola where I realized that the things I was going through, that it's really real. I never forget it. I was at Camp C around 95. I was on Camp C Bellside in work call. We're going to work, right? So we going to work. So the hoop nannies pull up. So the hoop nanny is a tractor with the
little tills on the side of it?
Yeah, and where everybody could sit on, right?
Okay.
So we packed up, we got about 3. The crazy part is about 2-3 hoop nannies because we had Wolfside and Bellside. Everybody going to work. So we like...
That's the name of the dormitory.
Yeah, so we if we get on the hoop nanny, we know we ain't going to do too much work, right? So, man, we going on the hoop nanny today. We going to ride somewhere. Because Angola's a big old farm, right? So... we get on the hoop nanny and everybody on the hoop nanny talking, boom, 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 boom. So you know that effect when something happened where everybody talking, then it come down the line where everybody just get quiet.
Yeah.
That will happen.
Like so that little record scratch in the movie.
So I'm like, why everybody ain't got quiet? And when I looked up, all I seen was nothing but white. Nothing but white. a cotton field.
Oh shit!
I said, I'm not doing that shit.
Really?
I said, I'm not doing that. I'm saying, nah.
They brought y'all to a cotton field.
We went to a cotton field. They say, I said, what the fuck? I said, nah. I said, man, I ain't picking no motherfucking cotton. But I was good in football.
Not.
I was good in football, so that was a big thing in Angola, football, right? And they like, nah, Juvie, man, come. I said, man, I'm not picking no damn cotton. I said, now this shit is going too far, man. They're like, man, come on, Juvie, bro. No football. I don't care about no damn football. I'm not picking that cotton. And for the first 2 or 3 days, I did not pick no cotton. The guys on the team, they're like, man, we gonna do it for you. You had to bring a certain amount. You had to bring a half a sack. You had to bring in the morning time, because that's the longer time, you had to have a half a sack. And in the evening time, you got to bring a quarter sack. I'm not doing that. And they were like, come on, bro, you come on, man. Come on, bro, don't look at it like that. I said, how do you want me to look at it? All the books I didn't read, nah.
History.
This is it.
Nah, man, no. I said, for one, they own the horse already, right?
Yeah.
They own the
They got
horse. They got the shotgun. Man, I'm like, what I'm doing here? So reality really hit me like, I think you ought to start educating yourself, right? Man, it's time for you to start getting your mind right. Start doing something with your life. Because like I was in prison, I was like just having fun.
Yeah.
Really, my first 7 years in prison,
Goddamn ball.
I thought I was on the streets.
Yeah.
Don't get me wrong, I never did drugs. I did some drinking. I thought I was on the street. I was like, everything they had going on in the prison, I was like living the prison life. I was institutionalized. I wanted to play all sports. I wanted to go to any function they had going. It was like, I was like institutionalized. I wound up getting jugged.
Yeah.
Right? I got stabbed. And I got stabbed because I had a friend of mine's. No, he was scary, right? But his daddy was bringing him marijuana every other week.
In his cheeks?
I don't know how his daddy, well, he had to put it in his to get in there, right?
So when you're in there and you're a drug addict and something hits the line, it don't matter whose butthole it's been in.
You just won't smoke.
You smoking.
Or snort, what they were doing. So what happened, me and this guy was in the cell blocks together, right? So me and him had got kind of cool in the cell blocks. He made the boy, went down the walk. About 6 months later, I make the boy come down the walk. We wind up sleeping right next to each other. So all that, he said, oh, V-Fat, man, I won't run something to you later on. I'm like, all right, but first time down the walk, I'll holler at you. So that night comes, he said, man, I won't run something to you, man. I'm like, man, what's up? He said, man, you know my daddy be breaking me off, breaking me weed. I'm like, yeah. So I'm saying to myself, man, I don't know nothing about no drugs, right? So he like, man, look here, bro. Everybody like you got respect. I'm going to get a weed to you. And you sell it in 70-30. 70 for you, 30 for me. I'm like, what? Now, I got to tell you, I don't know nothing about no drugs. So I had another good friend of mine. He knew about drugs. I said, hey, man, I got a proposition for you. Right? He said, what?
Find a new salesman.
I said, hey, you know your boy get all the weed in. Oh, yeah, man, he be taking weed from him. I said, but he about to give it to me. We gonna sell it. You know about it. He said, how I gonna go? I said, we gonna split everything down the middle. Cause one thing, I'm a fair guy, right? I said, we gonna split everything down the middle.
So you was gonna split your 70 with him.
We all gonna take 33%.
Okay.
Everybody.
Yeah.
Then later on, I had got another friend of mine involved, so everybody was getting 25% apiece.
Yeah.
It didn't matter to me because to me everything was free anyway.
See, and that's the thing, entrepreneurs.
Yeah, there we go. We're talking about this right here. He's hustling.
It don't stop from the streets to the penitentiary.
All the way. So that happened. So we rolling. But yeah, I realized during this time, I'm no more than 20 years old.
Yeah.
So now it's like they going to the guy, man, where the weed at? Because they know when he go to shade and get it. So when he come back, he give it to me. I don't know nothing. I give it to my partners. They break it down. Boom, boom, we selling. And I'm like, they say, hey, you got to send me a money order. If the money order don't come, you're not getting it. That's how we playing.
That's how you got to do, because you'll get people run up debt with you.
Yeah, they run a debt up with you. Or you want it, you got to know. So if you didn't know, because you wanted to know about the cigarettes, in prison, before they stopped the smoking, Campbell cigarettes ran the prison.
I thought it was Bugler.
Nah,
Nah,
Bugler.
well,
That Bugler. That after a while. That when stuff started getting too high. But in Angola, Campbell cigarettes.
Shout out Camel Cigarettes. That's our next sponsor.
Man, they were like boxes and boxes. So you want it, looking like a sack. You remember the song I got 5 on it?
Yeah.
No, so a sugar pack,
Yeah.
5 packs of cigarettes, 5 pack of Campbell. No, all you got to say I got 5 on it, right? So we rolling, we getting the cigarette, we rolling. So this going about 8 months. 8 months. I'm like, we penitentiary balling, right? Child.
Yeah.
Who going to child?
Yeah, we ain't gonna go nowhere.
From the penitentiary inside the penitentiary to the penthouse. There we
look
go.
man, nigga make some tuna. Let's make some tuna fish. No,
Yeah, hook up.
I'm not going to no kitchen.
Yeah.
I'm bigger than that. Cause we like I said, we jailhouse balling.
Big time.
So
Are you still, what is it, V-Fat right at this point in time?
right now it's Vladdy.
Just Vladdy.
Vlad.
Okay.
Everybody all my co they call me Vlad.
This chapter is called Vlad.
Yeah, Vlad. So 8 months later, another friend of mine who slept on the other side of me, he like, man, dude, come check me. Come check you. Yeah, man, come check me. Talking about somebody told him me and you was in the shower talking about he watched penis. I'm like, what?
He watching penis.
Bird watching.
Like, what? I'm like, what you talking about? Yeah, man, that the dude come say it. I'm like, this here. Man, look, I don't got time for that. So my partner, I could kind of see he was kind of like scared a little. I said, all right, but I'm going to handle this. So I go to him. I'm like, man, what's up? Yeah, man, what's up, man? I said, man, what you talking about? Yeah, bro, dude said you and your boy said that. I said, who told you that? And that's how you get to the bottom of everything, right? Who told you that? Because I know I ain't never said it. So let's see who told you that. And let's see he going to say that in front of me, right? So he was like, oh, I ain't got to worry about all that. When I said, don't come fucking tell me nothing nobody said if you ain't going to go get him. I said, it must be true then. You know, I done went off on him. But the dude, he was like, we had like we were about to fight, and the dude like, let it go. And I think that when I started, once that incident happened, after everything happened, I think I went to learning more and more. I went to growing more and more. Because the dude like, all right, cool. But I went to noticing this guy had never watched TV.
Because he's watching penis?
I know one thing, this dude had never watched TV. I'm in the TV room one night, that dude was sitting behind me.
Watching your ass.
I'm like, damn. I don't say nothing, right? I noticed in the dome, the light over in the back of the dome, it was mysteriously out. Like,
Is he a booty bandit?
I don't know what he was. But
You weren't finding out.
Yeah, I'm like, man, the lights out. What's going on? But I'm still not thinking nothing about what happened. But this incident happened on a Monday. And this all through the week. Now, I had a knife. I had a double sword knife, right? I put it inside the door.
Oh, Wolverine.
Yeah, I put it inside the door. But I want to notice in that week, like I had to always come check and see that it felt or anything, right? And it never felt. I don't never go check and see if it's still there because I don't see it showing. I said, well, it must be put up good. Picture Saturday morning. I never forget. I was supposed to go visit, right? So I went and played basketball because a friend of mine that morning. Then I'm going to take my shower, then sit back, take a shower, sit back, lay in the bed, wait for him to call my name to visit. So I went, took my shower, I'm laying in the bed, I'm reading this book, Ted Bundy book.
Ted Bundy?
I'm reading Ted Bundy.
All right.
I'm reading Ted Bundy. So you know like when you can feel a shadow over you?
Yeah.
I'm laying down, I'm like, I know nobody ain't over my bed. Because you know we had a thing, you can't walk in my aisles, right?
Respect.
So when I look up, it's the guy. He's swinging on me with the knife.
Oh.
Right, he like cut me a little.
So this Monday thing where he was trying to get you to go somewhere, he's probably trying to set you up somewhere.
So for what it is, I did what he did me. I called him out. I called him all kind of names. He let it go. Because he knew in his heart, I was too big for him. This time I'm starting to sprout up now, right?
He's a preemptive striker.
Yeah, so I'm getting big. I'm a youngster. I'm overpower him, so he know he can't take me head up, so I got to catch him when he's slipping. He caught me while I wasn't sleeping. I was taking a little knob off, so when he jugged me, I still wound up getting on. He hit me a couple of times. I rolled over him and I told him, I had his hand. He had me pinned down, but I told him, I said, man, look here, you would never hit me with that knife again. Never. So I wind up coming out. People come, things of that nature, but that when I learned to never let nothing go. If something happened, finish it right then there, because it can always come back. And that was like my growing pain, going through prison, you know. And so once all that happened, I still was saying to myself, man, you got to start getting yourself together. But the crazy part, it kind of made me worse, because everybody tell you when you get jugged, it hurt, it burns. I'm like, this shit didn't do me nothing. I felt like Superman in that bitch. I said, all right, it's going down.
Drug dealing, kingpin, Superman ass in prison.
I said, motherfucker better not tell me nothing, right?
Yeah.
And that's how it really was. So I did that 1999 on Easter night, April 5th, 1999, April 4th. Easter fell on April 4th, 1999. That night, I wound up getting shipped.
Oh, to Rayburn?
To Rayburn.
And that's where the success started happening.
I go to Rayburn, right? So when
Tell them about all the stuff that you got involved in at Rayburn.
So at Rayburn, man, I started the victim awareness program, me and Arthur Rose. We started the victim awareness program. I was a hospice caretaker. I was a HIV awareness counselor. I took up culinary arts.
Wasn't you a Toastmaster?
Do not do that. See, we would never be a Toastmaster. We JCs.
I hear you.
We believe. Right?
What's JC mean?
So JCs is a young men organization. Business is a business club, right? So it was all about young men learning how to own their own business, being entrepreneurs. But we turned the JCs into a speaking club because you got to realize if you're gonna go to own your own business, you got to sell your business, right?
You got to talk.
You got to learn how to talk. You got to know how to be on impromptu speaking. You got to know how to debate. You got to do all that. So we just took stuff from the Toastmaster and brought it over to the JCs, and we flourished from there.
Awesome.
We was unbeatable. I was a debate master. I'll argue you to death.
A master debater.
I'll argue you to death. I could be dead wrong, but you're going to believe me.
Yeah.
Once I finish, I might try to intimidate you. I'll be lying.
What do you think sparked the catalyst for the transition and the change that you made at Rayburn, as opposed to, I know Angola's it's wild, right? Mm-hmm. So then you get to Rayburn, it's a little bit more calm, cool, and collective. What sparked that change in you?
Really, what sparked the change? In '99, I wound up catching a battery on the officer
at Rayburn.
At Rayburn, mm-hmm. I was in the cell blocks, and I went to extended. While I was on extended, my grandma died.
Okay.
And when my grandma died, my grandpa died first, and then my grandma died, right? So that just like changed my whole perspective. I'm like, cause I'm living like this. Cause in a way, when I come from Angola, I still was wilding and live, right?
Right. So the stabbing didn't affect much.
Nah,
you just kind of like,
it made it worse.
I'm better.
Yeah, I'm
like a little shot to the ego.
I'm a G for real. I'm a G for real. No,
a top G.
Yeah, they can't stop me. But I think once I sit in them cells for 2 years.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, you was on Sun for 2?
I stood on extended.
In Sun or Snow?
No, on Sleet Yard.
Oh, Sleet. That's
Sleet
right.
Yard. Yeah. So I stood there for about 2 years, and I said, I got to get myself together. I said, it was like, nah, this ain't going to get it. Because I'm not in prison for the rest of my life. When I do get home, I have to make something of myself. I'm going to be right back here.
At this point, did you know that you were going to come home before the 50 years ended up?
No. Okay. I knew I had to do 25. Okay. No ifs, ands, and buts about it. Right. So it always was, I'm going to have to do 25 years. No ifs, ands, and buts about it. So I was like, it's time for me. Because you realize from 91, now it's 2002 when I finally made it to cell blocks. That's about what? How many years that is? About
9 years.
9 years now.
So you're about like 23 years old. I don't know when.
24, 23 years old.
Or maybe you're 25.
Yeah,
you're just like legit becoming like
a man,
a thinking man.
Yeah. So it was like I gotta start getting myself together. So when I first made it out the blocks, what I noticed, if everybody know me, I love sports, and I have like I'm an influence through sports. Like guys, like I started coaching the football team. The name of our team was Death Row. But we had all the worst guys in the prison. And they're like, oh man, y'all can't win them dudes got attitudes.
Got a longest yard situation going on.
We was winning everything. Like football, nobody could beat us. Basketball, nobody could beat us. Volleyball, nobody could beat us. I mean, we was good, right? So I started seeing the influence I had with that. And older guys, they'll come to me and say, man, you have a lot of influence in the prison.
Leader.
Yeah, you need to like.
He really did. So when I was at Rayburn, dudes looked up to him, man. They followed him around. He usually keep about 10 or 15 little young bucks. Did you live on Wynyard?
I lived on Wynyard. That was the majority of my time,
So
man.
Wynyard in the penitentiary at Rayburn specifically is like the projects.
Projects.
Poor little off the road. This is the pastor, and he's in the middle of the projects on Wynyard, man.
Like Jesus out there.
Yep, that's what he said.
really was.
That's how he was, yep.
And so he would look. He had so much respect when he got down and prayed. Like normally, dudes are buck wild in the dorm. They run around fighting, doing dumb things. But if he's praying, dudes don't even walk by him. You know what I mean? But Fat, he always had a bunch of young guys. He was always pouring into them, and he would always encourage them to get involved in education and organizations. He always held some type of role in the clubs and in education specifically. Stayed in the library and the education building. And from the time that I was there, 2009, I think, and then I went home in 13. I mean, he was invested in everything, you know. And I can honestly say he's a guy that I looked up to when I was there because I knew, you know, some of his story. I'm like, man, this guy can get it. I need to be able to get it. You know what I mean? And from there, you know, we became friends. But he had all the respect in the world, and people looked up to him and confided in him. And you know, it's funny to hear the stories of how he was when he first went there, because that's not the guy that I met. You know what I mean? He was different. But you know, I'm glad you turned out that way.
So whenever you're Vladdy, you're the kingpin, salesperson, entrepreneur. Whenever people are giving you this different type of respect, you're leader now. Athletics, people are like, I guess, respecting you while you pray. Is there like a different type of season? Are you going by a different nickname at this point in time?
Well, Eric, if this like right now, if somebody called me V-Fat, I knew they knew me from prison.
Okay.
Because that was not my name, my nickname
Anywhere
on the
else,
streets.
yeah.
No, on the streets, my name was Vladimir.
Okay.
Vladimir Celius, to be exact.
Vladimir went in.
Yeah, everybody knew me as Vladimir. So
Vladimir.
if I'm walking, somebody say, "Hey, V-Fat," I know you know me from prison.
Right.
Because that was my prison name, right?
So you're V-Fat at this point in time?
Yeah, I was, well, once I started, like, I wanted to get my GED in 2002.
Okay.
2002. So, no, I had a thing, a lot of my friends, they started doing the college, right?
Yep.
But my mind was like, hey, man, by the time I get home, I'm going to be 40-something years old. College ain't going to be for me. I'm going to have to get a trade or something, right? So I wound up getting into welding. I did fast track welding. Then I wound up coming again and took the 2-year course in welding. And once I did that, I wound up during that time, I wound up taking culinary arts. Once I took culinary arts, I worked in the kitchen for a while. But one of my greatest jobs I think I had in prison, I was an inmate counselor.
Yeah.
Right. I had that job. And I think that job really let me know that I can really be something. Because I'll never forget on Colonel Bell. Like, I went through the class, and they say, well, only a certain amount of, you got to have a certain grade for you to become an inmate counselor.
Is this the paralegal course?
Yeah, the paralegal course. They say you have to have a certain grade to become an
inmate counselor.
Inmate counselor, right? So it was me, Gerald, remember Gerald, to do all the carpentry stuff?
Yep.
It was me, Gerald, and somebody else. We was like the top ones in there. But the warden Bickham, he said, I would not make him an inmate counselor.
Talking about you?
Yeah.
Hating ass warden.
He said, He said, no, not him, because he was using up, I caught the battery on the officer. No, he caught a battery on the officer. He ain't changed. And I'll never forget, Colonel Bell come to me. He said, hey, I'm going to go to bat for you. He said, you let me down, you going to catch hell the rest of your Joes in here, right?
Shout out Colonel Bell then, huh?
That's what he told me. I'm like, all right. And I became inmate counselor. And I tell you the truth, I have to tell a lot of guys, man, don't come give me no case. If you want me to come argue for you in DB court, I could do that. Or you want something typed up.
DB court meaning disciplinary court.
Board, yeah. I said, I go argue for you in court, or you need some cases, I do that. Or you need something typed up, I would do that. But boy, don't come get me talking about writing up a memorandum or something. I can't do it, right? So I wind up doing that, and I wind up losing that job. I had the job down for about a year and a half. I wound up getting in a fight, right? Because during this time, like, I was on the rise and bettering myself, But at the same time, I still was with the foolishness, like fighting, stuff like that. And then when I went to learning that, I can't play both sides of the fence. Yep. You either gonna be over here or you're gonna be over there.
Be 100%.
Yeah. And when I lost that job, Colonel Bell come to the dungeon. And look what he told me. He said, Vladimir, I ain't mad at you. Cause they didn't think you was gonna last that long. But you did. So I'm really not mad at you. But see, what's something I'm starting to realize about you, you can't handle prosperity. That's what he told me. And that just like brought me to a whole nother level. I'm like, oh, all right.
He said you were self-sabotaging?
Yeah, he said he said you can't handle it. You would do good. And that what it was. I had so many great jobs, it was a shame. And I would lose them. And I'm like, man. So when he told me that, it like rung a bell to me, right? So now I had set myself up to do this. I'm gonna do good, and I'm not gonna do nothing to like mess myself up. I ain't gonna get into the crazy stuff, but just for the guards, I don't want them to try to hold nothing over my head. I'm still gonna act crazy.
Yeah.
But deep inside, I knew that I was on the straight path, right? But I'm gonna show them, no matter what y'all see, I'm gonna make it. Like when I went when I was close to going home, cause really I still came home early. I ain't supposed to come home on November of 2016. I supposed to come home 2 days before Thanksgiving, 2016. But when I caught the battery on the officer on the guard, I got sent to another year. Now the judge told me credit for time served, but DOC always has something you can't get credit for time served because you was already doing time while you caught this charge. And during this time, I was the president of the JC Club, right? So I turned every third Friday into a law class and letting guys come in there teaching people about the law, what he can help. So this will happen one Friday. They come in there. There was Friday of 2015, around December, something like that, November, December sometime. And they had just told me I couldn't go to work release. So that's like a bummer. So I'm like, man, I'm stuck here. So a guy coming in, they were talking about a case called Body versus what the DOC man is now? The one who over DOC?
Oh, Jimmy LeBlanc?
LeBlanc. It was over Body over LeBlanc. Well, a case where the judge told the guy he give credit for time served, but DOC won't give it to him. And he wound up winning. So when I heard that case, I'm like, what? Let me get that case.
That's my case.
Yeah, so let me get that case. So I filed the LLP. And we all know the prison gonna deny it.
Yep.
So they gonna deny it. So I went to the second step, right? And what's so crazy about
it. The second step is DOC, and then the third step would have been
Supreme. On 22nd of District Court.
Yeah.
But the second step is Baton Rouge. You're gonna go to Baton Rouge, right? So when I go to headquarters, when I send my response back, I use just the case. And I put word for word what the judge said. I got a copy of my sentence transcripts, sent that with it. And I'll never forget, it was June 2016. It was the month of Ramadan because I studied Islamic.
Okay.
And we was in there, and I just come from compassionate care. I took Wade. Remember Wade? I took his spot to go sit with somebody, right? I said, oh man, I'll go sit with him because he had to go because he was inmate counsel at the time. Mm-hmm. I said, I'll go sit with him. I went and sit with the guy. I come back. When I was in sleep too then. I go in sleep too. Took a shower. I said, I won't wait till later on to go to Juvenile and go eat. And the lady come hit my bed. I said, yes, ma'am. She said, you Vladimir? I'm like, yes. She said, they want you in the B building. I'm like, what?
Classification.
Yeah, they said, they want you in the B building. I said, B building? Threw them clothes on. I ran down there. So when I get in the building.
Did you have an idea in your head what was about to happen?
I really didn't know at the time. I had forgot about it. They take so long to answer you. I'm like, what? I'm like, all right, so I go down there. What I didn't know, if you get called to the B building that late, it's good news, right? So I get in there, all the people, they knew me. They're like, V-Fan, what you doing there? I said, well, they told me to come see the record lady. You about to go home? I said, I don't know, right? So the lady comes, I ain't even get to ask the lady nothing. Everybody else was like, what Vladimir going home? And the lady said, where's Vladimir? I said, he right there. They said, well, let me talk to him. So the lady brought me in the room. She said, well, Vladimir, I got some good news for you. I said, what it is? She said, you won your case. So now I'm like, hold up.
I'm Johnny Cochran out there.
I'm like, hold up. I say, I didn't want to know one thing. And I'm getting an immediate release. She said, no, it's not immediately, but it's close. Right? So you got really, it's around June the 23rd, something like that, of 2016. It's about June 23rd. So I was like, all right. She said, you want to know when? I said, yeah. She said, you're going to go home July the 6th. And I tell you, I couldn't say nothing. I was like lost for words.
Like, so June, and then like maybe like 2 weeks later, you're about to go.
I'm going home, right?
Oh, shit. What did it feel like?
I was lost for words. For one, I was lost for words. I ain't gonna lie. I had to tell the lady, I said, ma'am, can I get a moment? Because it's like the weight of the world was off my shoulders.
How many years at this point?
It was 25 years.
You cry?
Did I?
I bet.
I was like, it was like the lady, like she told me that, I'm like, man.
What's this building inside looking like? Is it like a bright lit building, or is it?
I didn't know I was in that building.
Just levitating.
It's like I was just going up, working on clouds, right? I'm in there. I'm like, man. So I sit there a while. I'm crying in. I'm trying to hold it in. So the lady said, "You ready?" I'm like, "Yes, ma'am, I'm ready." But the lady wasn't talking. She was talking, but it sounded like I was on Charlie Brown. Wah 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 wah. I couldn't understand nothing she was saying because I'm about to go home. So I go back to the dome. Everybody knew something happened, right? Big row.
Yeah, but you can't go in there and tell everybody.
Yeah, I
you're going
can't tell
home.
everybody. I just can't say I'm about to go home.
What happens? Because it's like
People try something,
Sabotage you or start getting jealous, try to
put some more time on
put some
you.
more
Yeah,
time on you.
they try all kind of stuff, right?
So what'd you say when they asked you what happened?
So this what happened. This dome I was in, it was sleep too.
Yeah.
So it was like a trustee dome, right? So it was kind of like a good dome. So Big Row comes, Big Row, that big Roosevelt, that was my boy there, right? So Big Row come, bitch, what happened? I'm like, nothing, bro. Bitch, you lying, bitch. I know it's on the house, and nothing happened, bro. So mail call going on, Vladimir Celius. So now everybody, everybody knows it. No, some people don't know what's
Especially
going
if you're
on.
not a person that gets mail on a regular basis.
Everybody don't really know what's going on, but just by they calling your name, when the lady about to hand you your piece of mail, everybody like looking.
It's legal mail.
Yeah, so then everybody see, man, that's a rap sheet. But I take the rap sheet, I ain't even look at it because I already know what the date is, right? So I just blew it off, took the rap sheet, put it underneath the pillow, right? I ain't saying nothing. So later on that night, here come Big Row. Bitch, what happened? I said, Roy, I'm going to tell you this. And I said, you tell anybody, I'm going to beat your ass. He said, what? I said, I'm about to go home July the 6th. You lying. I know. I'm telling you, bro. But after that, I was just telling people. Right now, I'm like, ain't nothing you can do me. They're going to get me out my character that I don't make it to see this day, right?
Right.
And let me tell you the crazy part about this day. You remember Big Hank?
Yeah.
Big Hank.
Yeah, everybody telling me, don't go. I love the sports, right? So I'm fat mountain. So I'm like, let's go play some basketball. This 4th of July day.
2 days before.
2 days before I go play. And Big Hank a big guy. He taller than me.
Mm-hmm.
I'm playing basketball against him. That man hit me in my nose. Nose went to bleeding. I said, man, I'm about to go home with a broke nose. Right? It was crazy, but I never forget that.
Did you have the fear of telling the free people what happened in case they thought you got in a fight?
No, what Miss on Jack and then was on sleep, y'all. So they knew.
They knew what time. Okay.
They knew what time it was. So
I seen Hank at isn't he home?
Yeah, he home.
Yeah, I ran into him at what was that in
a club or something.
No, it was a festival thing. Where were we?
Strawberry Fest.
Strawberry Festival. Yeah,
he tried to get me to go.
Yeah, I seen him and his wife.
Yeah, he tried to get me to go. But I'm gonna tell you this: when July the 6th came, and I walked out them gates, oh man, it was crazy. My mama was there, my sister was there, my youngest niece was there, and my nephew was there.
Is it like in the movies where it's like,
See, man, I'm telling you, I think to this day, that is one of the greatest feelings I ever had in my life. Right? After 25 years, man, I'm free. It's over with. And I knew the moment Big Rick walked me out that
Ricky
gate.
Warren.
shout out Big Rick.
Big Rick walked me out and he told me, he said, you ain't coming back. I had to establish that much that people knew, nah, that one of the ones ain't coming back. But they really didn't know I had the slightest idea what I'm gonna do. I was like, all right.
So you left Rayburn and you went to New Orleans.
Nope, I went to Slidell.
Slidell.
My sister then was staying in Slidell.
So I just wanted to know, Scott, whenever I asked him about this, he had a few things that were kind of new to him whenever he got out, and he was only locked up for how many years?
5.
5 years, not only. No, there's no only with 5 years. But whenever you were released, you breathed that fresh air, and then you actually started to get acclimated with, I guess, the new world. What were like some things that like you looked at and said, "What the hell is this?" Technology-wise, anything?
For one, the phone.
Okay.
When I got that phone, I was like, man, I had to keep getting my knees. How do you work this thing? And I want to know how my phone keep getting on airplane mode. Right? How my phone keep darkening and lighting up. I'm like, man, this phone is crazy. But it wasn't just that. Just like when I come home, I ain't want to ride nowhere. I wanted to walk.
Yeah.
Because for one, I didn't know how to drive.
Right.
So I was like kind of scared in a way, but then it did like everything, like just going places, seeing places. I was like a real like sightseeing everywhere I went. You know, just let me get in the back seat and I'm just gonna watch everything, watch everything unfold.
Take it all in.
Take it all in. And I think that's what I had to do instead of just rushing right into it. Like when you come on, people like you gonna get a job and things like that. I think sometimes you really gotta debrief from all that you done been through. Just take that a week or so and just see, all right, let me just get back into what's going on in the world before I start going out, going places and stuff like that. So
Let me ask you a question. When you walking through Walmart and all them women are walking by and them perfumes, did that mess you up?
did it.
Man, I ain't gonna lie. I went to the grocery store for the first time, man. I started smelling women. I was like a dog out in the woods looking for a deer with my nose up like this. I mean, you'd be surprised, and I know you can relate. Your eyes have to adjust to different colors. Your nose has to adjust to all the
different
smells.
Yep.
You know, what are some of the other things that you had to get used to?
Just like, in prison,
Padding the toilet seat?
that, taking one leg out, stop calling the toilet the shitter.
Yeah.
You had to like stop
Getting
that
in the shower with your sandal shoes on?
Get in the shower with your slippers and stuff like that. But one of my main things, and in prison, I really wasn't no person that be hoggish. Like every time a woman come, you won't see him. But when I come home, like everywhere you went, you would like your neck start hurting because you're moving around. Every time you say, "Ooh, she nice. Ooh, she nice." You go, "Oh, damn. Ooh, look at that." You know what I'm saying? So it was like I had to stop myself because sometimes that look perverted.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Every time you see a woman, you're like, "Oh, is that a woman?"
But
Yeah.
I mean, people got to understand, this man was gone 25 years. You know, a neck turn here and there, man, it's permissible, bro.
Yeah, but I was like, nah, I won't. Because my biggest fear is coming home was I going to be accepted.
Yeah.
That was my biggest fear. Like, is people going to accept me once they learn who I am or what I was, like what my charges was, they going to like accept me. So that was my biggest fear. So I ain't want to look like no creep.
Yeah.
Like every time you see it, when you like, God, damn, that thing nice, So that what it was.
Hey, so how did you, because I had to, and I didn't do nearly as much time as you, and I had that same insecurity, that lack of confidence. I did all the programs that you can do, got all the certifications, degrees. I knew I had to make myself more marketable than the next person. You did the same. Coming home, what did you do to combat those insecurities and those fears, like you said, of being accepted? Or like, I know for me, for a long time, I didn't even like telling people I've been to prison. So how did you deal with that?
Well, I think what really started it off, like my first job I had when I come home, I work in that room to go. So like I'm working at Room to Go in Pearl River. I'm working there, and so it's like me, I'm really a people person. So I can really talk to anyone. So I didn't want to talking to the guys and everybody like, man, you different. You don't. So a couple of youngsters, I don't know how the youngsters just flopped to me. So I went to telling them, I'm like, man, this is my story, right? So, but I quit Room to Go 2 days after working there. Because I caught like a flashback. The guy went to hollering, oh, let's move this. I'm like, man, motherfuck this shit. Because I'm thinking I'm back in prison with all that damn hollering. I said, nah, I can't do this. So I wind up going cut grass for a while, right? So once I did that for about...
With Palmer?
With Palmer. I called Palmer. I said, Palmer, you got a seat on that van? And he was like, yeah, man, I was just about to call you. So I was cutting grass with Palmer. And that was, I think that, like I said, once I got that week of breathing, I know it was time for me to start putting things in motion, right? And I think messing with Palmer, working with Palmer, his nephew and them, and Kurt, and then working that room to go, it really put me in that mindset like, man, you're going to be all right. Mm-hmm. No, you're going to be all right. You got this here. You just got to take it like, they call it transferable skills, right? So now I got to take my transferable skills when I was in prison and bring it out here. In prison, if I just see somebody that I know they were going to have trouble, I'll befriend them. Like, hey, man, it's going to be all right. So now they're doing the same thing when I come home. Meeting people, talking to them, blah, 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 doing things like that. And once I did that with Palmer for a while, I had a good friend of mine, Pat.
Yep.
And I was trying to get Pat's number. Pat gave me his number, right? I wind up putting Pat's number wrong in my phone. And every time I called Pat, he had never picked up the phone or declined my call.
You started feeling played.
I felt played, right? I run into Larry.
Yeah.
And I said, Larry, you got Pat's number? He like, yeah. I said, man, give me Pat's number. And I had the wrong number the whole time. So when I called Pat, I'm like, oh, bro, I thought you were dodging my calls. He said, no, man. And I got Pat's number. And Pat told me, say, hey, they got this program I want you to go to called Strive NOLA. Right? He said, come to the program. And one thing Pat did, Pat acted like he never knew me.
That must have been hard.
Yeah, like he never knew me because he didn't want people to think he was showing favoritism towards me.
That's good on him, though.
Yeah, he was like, bro, come through the class, do your thing. And I wound up going through the class, and that when I really went to opening up.
Tell everybody what Strive, just a short synopsis of what Strive did.
So Strive is a like a work readiness program to like get people, like especially guys coming home from guys and women coming home from prison, get them ready for society, like getting ready to prepare themselves for a job. Cause like you did a lot of time, you don't know how to go in the interview, you don't know how you should talk, you don't know how you should dress, you don't know them things. So they was really like giving you them things, and like and really was for some people that like fell out of touch. They went on hard times, they forgot how to do things, or they didn't got so comfortable they feel like they didn't have to do them things the most. So it was for them type of people too that didn't fell all hard time and they needed that kick in the butt to get them back going, right? So that was Strive really was about.
So where did Strive lead you next?
So once I graduated Strive and on Strive in October 2016, I wind up getting hired there. Cause they started a new program called Strive Future Leaders, and it was for young adults from the age of 17 to 24 who had some type of involvement with the justice system, right? So I wind up going on an interview, and I'll tell you, it was Miss Angela Cryer.
I miss Miss Angela.
Yeah, Miss Angela, and we had a guy. I don't know how I forget his name. We were really cool. Yeah. They Mike Ruffin.
Okay.
They the one did my interview, right? So they asked me all these questions, and one question that they asked me, I really was ready for it. They like, why should we hire you?
What you told them?
I told them, I said, well, the reason you should hire me because, see, I said, for one, you're going to have a lot of people come up for these interviews, and they going to have the PhDs, the master's degrees, the associate's degrees, and all that. But I said, well, I have something that none of them don't have. And they like, what is that? I said, well, this is a program for 17 to 24-year-olds who has some type of involvement with the justice system, right? They're like, right. I said, well, who is better to teach them about getting themselves together than someone who is going through what they going through and then been through what they've been through? I said, I have the experience. Ain't nothing the book's gonna teach them, I could teach them more.
Yeah, you've been in
I
the
can show them more.
trenches.
I've been there. So who is better for the job? Someone who didn't go through none of this or someone who went through this?
They said, okay, when you gonna start?
They was like, okay.
Good point.
They was like, all right. And I had to go on another interview. But once I went on that was a panel interview. Once I went on a single interview, I had it.
Now, Strive was a department or a program under the city of New Orleans, right?
Understand the mayor that was on Mayor Mitch Landrieu.
Yeah.
That was his baby.
Yeah.
He like brought that because they say that the job rate in New Orleans for men and black men was low and that, so he like kind of boost that up, give them that boost. So that was. So I worked Strive Future Leaders, and I tell you, the Strive Future Leaders taught me a lot. I'm like, I got the job. I received the job in December. I really got the job in December, and 2 days later, I was on a plane to New York.
Yeah, for the training. I remember when you went. That was your first time on the plane?
Yeah, my first time on the plane. All my ears were popping.
So first time traveling really ever, huh?
It really ever.
Yeah.
So I did that, and when I went to New York, I was like, all right, I'm here.
Did you have the song in your head?
Nah.
I got 100 unclear. I'm from New York.
I'm a Biggie fan,
Yeah.
right? So, but when I have that, I knew it was crunch time. It was time for me. Now I'm in a position. It's time for me to show up. So when I got there, I was like a sponge. I'm soaking everything up. We started the program. I started doing the classes, and like right now to this day, I had did 12 cohorts. And I'm telling you right now to the day, somebody in every one of them cohorts still stay in touch with me.
Nice.
They like see me, and like I had one guy, I'm like, I was getting on about pants sagging and things of that nature. They'll see me on the street, and like they go to pulling their pants up and got me white. Man, Mr. Vlad right there. I didn't have some of my some of the participants that was in the class, girls, they didn't have babies. I go see them. No, it was like they showed me.
You raised them kids.
Yeah,
man.
they was like, hey, Mr. Vlad, if it wasn't for you, I wouldn't be where I am right now. And the crazy part, we had a thing where we did where I never told them my story until about the first week of the class. None of them knew I went to prison. And then once I tell my story that I've been, they was like, what? Mr. Vlad, I would never knew. And that would be my point to them, show them it doesn't matter where you come from, it's where you heading.
Amen.
You still can like make your future better. You know, we all make mistakes, right? They like God told him, Jesus told him, hey, if you never did nothing, you cast the first stone, right?
Right.
Nobody threw a stone. Because know why? We all do things. Some of us get caught, some of us don't. But that do not define you. So I did that, but I wanted to do more. I wanted to do more. I worked with Strive Future Leaders for 2 years. And after 2 years, so now it was like, all right, I helped the youth. But I felt I wasn't doing enough to help my peers, right? So I became a peer support specialist for people that come. I work for Metropolitan Human Service District. I work with them as a peer support specialist, and I did that, like helping guys that was coming home, getting more acquainted to prison. Because one thing a lot of people don't realize, and after doing all that time, the trauma that you go through so much trauma that you really can't adapt to what's going on. Like some guys, like I got a good friend of mine, I ain't gonna even say his name. This guy wind up getting his master's in prison. But so everybody said, oh, he rehabilitated, right? But the thing is, he really never got help for what he really needed.
Addiction,
right? He wound up messing up again. But everybody getting mad at him on this. But you got to realize his charges he had was not for crimes. His last charge he caught was for an armed robbery, because he got the armed robbery for what? For drugs.
Yeah.
So he never really got the help, and they never really made me want to get into peer support, because that's what people need. We can't, they make a mistake, we got to realize what the problem is. He was a drug addict. Not because he was a criminal, he was a drug addict.
Yeah.
That's what he need help for. Mm-hmm. So I got off into that, and once I did that for about 2 years too. But now after, all right, I did that, I said, all right, now it's time for me to move on up.
In the middle of all that, he's got a second job.
Yeah, in the middle of all that, I'm working at Whole Food Market on Broad Street, New Orleans.
Go see him.
Yeah, I went from I started off in the dishwash, right? I'm rolling the dishwash. This one Saturday, the guy told me, hey, man, the smokehouse guy didn't come. You think you can handle the smokehouse? One thing I learned, you always learn your surroundings. Mm-hmm. I'd go watch the guy. I'd wash them dishes right quick. I'd go watch the guy in the smokehouse. Oh, yeah, I could do that. I went to the smokehouse. Now I went back on dishwash. I rode the smokehouse for a while. So now I'm watching it. So I'm pitching, is I'm going to be a pizza maker or a sandwich maker? Right?
Which one do you want more?
I see. Nah, I ain't got time to be messing with all that flour, right? I see. So I'm going to go, I learned how to make the sandwiches.
All right.
Sure enough, they wind up closing the smokehouse area down, right? They say, Vlad, we're going to have to put you somewhere else. Where you want to go? Put me on sandwich. Because a lot of people didn't like doing sandwich. Then it was at nighttime. Nobody really want to work the night shift. I said, I work the night shift. making sandwiches. Wind up doing that. And so that was my little part-time job. And I worked full-time, part-time from 2017 all the way to 2021.
Mm-hmm.
So, and now, what role are you in?
Now I'm a re-entry case manager at Total Community Action.
Shout out.
And that's through probation and parole?
I've been working probation and parole since November the 1st of 2017. So remember they had that big mass of people they had let out.
Yep.
And so that when they started the triage team in New Orleans, because it was like, you letting all these people out, but what resources that they have. So they started the triage team. So I'm like a true blue member of the triage team right now. You know, I'm part of the New Orleans on task force in New Orleans, and all they got to do like with the reentry. So I'm doing that. I'm doing a reentry case manager at Total Community Action. But now I got another project I'm about to work on now. So the youth in New Orleans is really getting out of hand again. So I'm about to start another program for reentry for the youth in New Orleans, and the name of it going to be Why Be Mad, right?
Hell yeah.
On young boys, girls making a difference.
Why be mad with Vlad?
Yeah, so that's
I like that.
Yeah, so that's just my thing. Like I tell a lot of people, you know, if I don't give back, because they have people help me on my road to success, right? So if I don't do the same thing, everything I done did was in vain. You know, like everybody tell me they want to know somebody's number. Hey man, what's up? Oh, call V Fat, because I really get in touch with everybody. You want to know somebody?
Everybody knows Fat.
Yeah, you know, so that's just my thing. And you know, my life has changed so much since that year I got that 16-year-old, right? Mm-hmm. I say right now, you know, my fiance, shout out to Deandra.
What up,
Deandra?
Soon to be Celius. Last year sometime in 2021, my fiance lost our twins, right? So, but we trying again. We trying again. I'm engaged to be married. We had our engagement party this year on April the 16th. So, you know, life just been great for me.
Sitting on that rack 8 years ago, you would have never thought that.
No, I'd say, sometimes she be laughing at me because sometimes like we be laying in the bed watching TV or something. I just bust out laughing. I said, what you laughing for? I said, know why? Many years I never imagined this.
No one's standing above me with a shank.
Yeah, you know, it's crazy, but like I say, life been good for me. And one thing I like to put out there, like, for the fellas that is coming home, the women and the men that is coming home from prison, you know, I always tell them, don't look at my success and think yours gonna be just like that. You don't have to be doing re-entry. Now, you could be working on a garbage truck. You could be working in a restaurant. You could be fixing cars. Long as you doing something not to go back to prison. As long as you ain't putting yourself back in that situation, it's all good. We all can't be no great success stories, but being a success is better than anything. Mm-hmm. Some of us gonna make it, some of us not. But some of us gonna be big timers, some of us not. But as long as you doing what you have to do, not to come back in prison.
Amen.
And that's what it's all about.
Last plug I want you to do before we cut this out. Tell them about Sharp.
So we got a nonprofit organization in New Orleans called Sharp Men, right? And Sharp Men is a dress of success for men. So, you know, now you heard of dress of success for women, but you never heard it for men. So a good friend of mine, Patrick Young, he the co-founder, he the founder of Sharp Men. And when he had the idea, you know, like what we do, we help men from prison that going on interviews and things of that nature, give them like nice clothes, suits and ties, shoes, everything. I'm on 1 year, I think it was 2019 in November. They had the young guys at the youth study, the Travis Hill School. It had like a juvenile prison. They had a dinner with themselves with their family around Thanksgiving. So what we did, we dressed all of them in suit and ties, shoes,
nice,
and let them go eat dinner with lunch with their family, right? So that was Sharp Men then, like helping prison guys coming home from prison that need some type of attire, business clothes,
job interviews.
Even if they get the job and still need clothes, we'll buy the uniform clothes for them if they need them. So that was our Sharp Men organizations about, like, iron sharpen iron.
Iron does sharpen iron.
Iron sharpen iron. So no, that was our Sharp Men organization, nonprofit organization that we have going on in New Orleans. And we trying to bring this thing all over the world if we can.
Yeah, and if you want to donate, you can look them up online. We'll also have Pat, the guy that he was talking about on one of our next episodes. So stay tuned for that. But man, I appreciate it. Always a pleasure. You're a natural on the mic, man.
It is.
I took notes today.
All right.
So what's
Appreciate
up?
it.
Before we go though, what's up with Black Russian? Where did we get that nickname? Where does that come from?
So I'm gonna tell you this is a crazy story. I never forget. I was in Angola in 1993, right? And the doctor come. So the doctor come, Vladimir Celius. He's standing right there by me. And he just calling Vladimir. So I jumped up. I said, yeah, that's me, the Black Russian. And that's how that game just went to rolling, because I get that a lot. When people call my name.
Well, Vladimir, I mean, it's not often, and this is what it is. How often do you meet a black dude that's named Vladimir?
Never.
You know
First
what I mean?
time was about 2 hours ago.
I mean, it sticks, man. It fits.
So, the Black Russian here. I'm here. I ain't going nowhere.
Vladimir Putin is a powerful individual, and so are you.
Come on, Putin tripping, though.
Yeah, he's tripping. You got good power. He got bad power.
Yeah.
He's evil.
All right.
All right. Well, I appreciate everybody tuning in today, and until next time, we'll see you.
All right. Peace out.
Later on.